and they expect you to like listen to all of them, and they sometimes ask specific questions that they had asked to the previous candidate. Initially, sir started upon a subject which I was not very familiar with.
Hello everyone, welcome to CATKing. I'm Achal Dikhe, and today we have Somjit with us, who is doing MBA from IIM Ahmedabad. We have already created, his IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, and Calcutta interview experience. You can just go and check that out. This video is all about his interview experience with other IIMs and also SPJain. So let's just get into the video and see, what his experience was. So hi Somjit, can you just, take brief on how your interview was with IIM Lucknow, Indore, and Kozhikode?
Yeah, hi Achal. So maybe I can start with Lucknow. So it was a very quick interview, around I would say 10 to 11 minutes. So they had us wait in a waiting room in Google Meet, and I was, I think, waiting for an hour. So the professors came in very quickly. So there were two of them,
Okay.
and immediately after coming in, they started firing in the questions very rapidly. We started with a normal introduction question. After that, after that they went deeply into mathematics. They were asking me questions on integration, differentiation, and matrices. I think I slipped up on one of the questions, but I was able to like make it up. After that, they asked me some questions on logical reasoning. They were like giving me some situation-based questions like, if this happens, what will you do? And I think I slipped up in one of those also. And the professor was like, I think your logical reasoning is not good at all. I was completely taken aback by it. But in the following questions, I was like able to make it up. They asked me some domain-based questions like, you say you are in a robotics background. Do you know about this term? Have you worked on this kind of a thing? So I had knowledge upon them, so I was able to fill that answers. In the end, they were like kind of happy, except for the one logical reasoning danger that I had encountered upon. It was very quick interview. The Indore one was a very technical one, and that they really went deep into my engineering. The so initially, sir started upon a subject which I was not very familiar with. So I politely asked her that, sir, can you just ask me upon this subject? The one you asked me is something not really I excel at. So he was like kind enough to switch the subject, and he asked me questions on that. So I would say if people are not able to like answer upon a subject, you can definitely ask the professor to change it. And then once I had said analog electronics, he went deep into it, and I had like prepared quite well for it, so I was able to answer it. He gave me a lot of questions, like so half of the interview was that. The second half of the interview, ma'am asked me questions about current affairs, general knowledge about the college, and some policy decisions that India was like undertaking at that point of time. So I was well versed with all of them. I did that, and as the W80 part was withdrawn from IIM in the process selection, so they actually asked an in-interview extempore for 2 minutes.
Okay.
I think they were substituting that extempore component for the AWT part. So my topic was like whether including people from different background is a good option whenever you're taking a decision. So they gave me 1 minute to think about it and 2 minutes to speak on it. So I took my time, and I was obviously in favor of the subject, in favor of the subject, and I just and I think I was able to give a very good example. So they just asked me some follow-up questions after the extempore, and I was done in the interview. In Kozhikode, it was a surprise. So there was only one maths question which sir asked, and the rest of the interview was completely general knowledge. So uh, I came from Maharashtra, so started asking me questions about how many districts there are in Maharashtra, how many districts there are in Kerala, so where is Kozhikode located,
Right.
how many people have won Nobel Prize from India. Then they started me asking questions about specific people. I was completely taken aback by it, to be honest. They also asked me questions about Constitution of India, what is a republic, what's the difference between a republic and a democracy,
Oh God. Okay.
and it yeah. So I was not really prepared for that, and that was my first time interview. So I was really scared that if this is what is going to happen in all of the IIM interviews, then I am really done for.
Oh,
But
okay.
yes, so Kozhikode was completely general knowledge. and only one or two questions from my engineering and some background questions. It was also very short, like a 15-minute interview.
Okay. So
That
how
was
many
my.
HR questions they asked you since
Oh no, in Kozhikode they did not ask me any HR questions.
any HR?
The HR question was mainly there in Indore. One or two HR questions were there, and mainly in ABC they were like HR questions.
Okay. So you were prepared, along with your background questions, your engineering and HR and domain-based questions, right? Or GK was not in your list.
No, GK was definitely there in my list, but not till the level that they were expecting me to know. So after
Okay.
that, I spent around a week just to revise and know about my GK.
Okay, we'll
Yeah.
come to that part later. But how was your SPJain interview? I mean,
Yeah, so SPJain interview was a failure interview. I was not. So there are two rounds of interview in SPJain, and so the difference in SPJain is that there is a group interview. So all of the people are giving their interview in front of you, and they expect you to like listen to all of them, and they sometimes ask specific questions that they are asked to the previous candidate.
okay.
So I was selected for the marketing role in SPJ, and I had like so prepared half of my preparation was for marketing, and the second was the generic preparation that you do. So he asked me, so they really went deep into the marketing part. They asked me like jargon, what are the meaning of this? What is the favorite brand? What all have they done in the past few
So
years?
this was your
How do you
group
think
interview.
this was my group interview? So
Okay.
they
So
were
how long
going
how long was your group interview?
group interview. I think it went around for an hour, and there were 4 to 5 people in it,
Okay.
and they were sometimes mixing people up. So one asked one question from me, and then another question from the other candidate. So
Oh,
just went around, and I think I kind of went to an argument with the professor about some, I think marketing aspect, and I think he was not really happy with it. So they let us wait for an hour to tell us the results, who all would be proceeding to the next interview, and I was not selected in them. I think it was mainly due to the fight that I had with the professor. But I stood my ground, so I don't have any regret about it.
so how was your personal interview then? I mean,
In SPGen,
yeah.
did not have any personal interview, right? Because so after the group interview, have the they again have a group interview. They do not
Oh,
have
so they
any.
they have two group interviews. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Then the second part of the SPGen interview is mainly HR.
all right. So what are
Yeah,
HR
but
questions did they ask you?
I was not right. I was not
Okay.
selected in the first round.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
after the first round.
so what learnings that you got from SPJain interview?
I would say if a professor is really like pushing for an agenda and you think that they are like hell-bent on it, it would be better if you just accept it and not really pursue it long, because I think it went negative for me because I was continuously picking up on it. Though I was like I had read up on it, so I was very confident. But I think sir had different views. So if you see that the professor is disagreeing with you, just try to not push for it more than a minute or two. After that, if you see he's still at it, then just back off. Because in the end, you have to also come off as someone who is agreeable and also is engaged in a very healthy discussion. You don't want someone to just argue about it. So I think that was my greatest learning from that interview. I did not repeat it in any of the subsequent interviews that I had.
Okay. Awesome. Then thank you so much, Somjit, for sharing all this interview experience. If you have any question, guys, do let us know in the comments down below, and all the best for your interviews.
Thank you.